Hey guys, what's up and welcome to this video. So we are going to predict the Steelers 2020 NFL record. Now, this is kind of like it's difficult to predict stuff right now because pandemic, no training camp, no training camp yet, but no OTAs, no minicamp, no rookie minicamp, no nothing, you know? And then the preseason's only going to be like 2 games if we even have a preseason, and everything's a gigantic mess. So, I will make another prediction video, probably right before the season starts. But we'll look at the Steelers roster and we'll look at their games and we'll come up with a record. Now, for the most part, people have somewhere in the 7-9 to the 9-7 ballpark. Pretty much similar to last year. And I don't agree with that at all. And there was only one prediction that I really liked. It was someone had them going 13-3. Now, if they actually go 13-3, I'll be ecstatic. I'll be over the moon. But, mind you, this is the same guy who told you 365 days ago, well, not exact, but told you 1 year ago that the 49ers were going to go 3-13. The same guy who told you the 49ers were going to go 3-13, okay, is saying that the Steelers are going to go 13-3 this year. Okay, good luck with that. So with that said, keep that in mind when I say, hey, he said they were going to go, that he thinks they're going to go 13-3. We're just going to work on this a little bit. We'll look at the roster and we'll look at the games. Let's get into it. All right, so I looked at the depth chart and it doesn't include the draft picks, so we're just going to look at the actual roster, which should include the draft picks. Let's just make sure. Yep, Antoine Brooks. Cool. So first is Ola. He's depth, really. Marcus Allen, he may not make the roster. If he does, he's depth. Tyson might actually get playing time this year, because I think we moved Cam Hayward to D-tackle, so that means the ends would be Tuitt and Alualu, or Tuitt and Wormley, the guy we traded for from Baltimore. Which they thought they had, the hell's his name from the Rams? They thought they had him signed and they didn't, so, but it's like no backsies on the trade. Trajan Bandy, no idea who that is. Zach Banner, he's Mr. Eligible. JT Barrett, probably won't make the roster, may make practice squad. John Battle, no idea. Jordan Berry, he's the punter, he'd probably make the roster. Let's see. Saeed Blacknall. Don't know much about him. Breon Borders. Chris Boswell had an amazing comeback year last year. He'll be the kicker. Antoine Brooks Jr., he's the safety they drafted. He may make the roster either as safety depth and or the dime linebacker. Isaiah Buggs, he may make the roster as depth. Devin Bush, amazing middle linebacker. Deion Kane, he played some of wide receiver last year. He will have to fight for his spot on the roster. Cam Kennedy, the long snapper. Chase Claypool, just drafted him. He'll make the roster. Josiah Coatney, James Conner, Anthony Coyle, Jordan Dangerfield, Amara Darbo, Carlos Davis, David DeCastro, Christian DeLauro, Kevin Dotson, Bud Dupree, Eric Ebron, Terrell Edmonds, Trey Edmonds, Matt Filer, Minka Fitzpatrick, Zach Gentry, Ulysses Gilbert, Derwin Gray, Joe Hayden, J.C. Hosner, Quadre Henderson, Dwayne Hendricks, Cameron Hayward, Alex Highsmith, Mike Hilton, Devlin Hodges, John Houston, Anthony Johnson, who I so hope makes the roster because he went to UB, and that was the first college I went to. So I'm a big UB fan. Deontay Johnson, Jaron Jones, John Kenoy, Tyree Kinnell, Christian Kuntz, Justin Lane, Leo Lewis, James Lockhart, Paxton Lynch, Dan McCullers, Vance McDonald, Anthony McFarland Jr., Henry Mondeau, Christian Montano, Alexander Myers, Steven Nelson, Spencer Nye, Giacomo Corafor, James Pierre, Marquise Pouncey, Kevin Rader, Ben Roethlisberger, Mason Rudolph, Jalen Samuels, Christian Scotland Williamson, Tuzar Skipper, Juju, Benny Snell, Robert Spillane, Arian Springs, Cam Sutton, Ryan Switzer, Calvin Taylor, Stephon Tuitt, Alejandro Villanueva, Corliss Waitman, Kayvon Walker, James Washington, Derek Watt, TJ Watt, Ralph Webb, Kareth White, Vince Williams, Stephen Wisniewski, Stefan Wisniewski, I believe is the name, and Chris Wormley. I got tired of just listing everyone and saying if they would make the roster or not, because a lot of these guys I don't know. I know most of them, obviously, because of the roster last year. So, a lot of these guys aren't going to make the roster, obviously, because you have 90 guys and the roster can only be 53. Unless they make some sort of exemption this year because of the coronavirus. Players may not be prepared enough. So if they say, hey, you can have 60 guys on your roster, you can still only have 46 active on game day, but you can have 60 this year. So who knows? Just to have extra depth, just in case either players get corona or get hurt because they weren't physically prepared. You can work out as much as you want, but it's not gonna be. But being in shape and being in football shape are two different things. So with that roster in mind and what roughly it will be, let's talk about what the Steelers' record could be. All right, so preseason, we don't even know what's gonna happen. Now, I believe they said they decided to play 2. Now, the smart thing would be to play the last 2. Get rid of... Now, the Steelers and Cowboys game for the NFL Hall of Fame game already got postponed to next year. Along with the ceremony. The smart thing, though, would be take away the first 2 so they don't play Tampa Bay, they don't play the Saints, they play the Jets and the Panthers for the preseason. That way you give people the 2 extra weeks. That would be the smart thing. So let's talk about the actual regular season. Let's see. So you have the Steelers at the Giants. To be honest, I see us winning this game. Now, this is a Monday night game. It is the first of 2 Monday night games. Week 1, you have 2 Monday nights. This is the first one. I see us winning this game. Daniel Jones, I don't know what he's going to be like in year 2. But now you actually have a year of film on him. And you can actually kind of prepare for him and Saquon. But Saquon will be a little bit harder to contain. So, right now you're at 1-0. Broncos at Steelers. I'm going to pick the Steelers. Now, I like Drew Lock. He may be the Broncos' next franchise quarterback, but we don't know. And being home, the first home game of the season, this is going to be good. So, we'll have that, and we'll see where that takes us. But it's a Sunday 1 o'clock. Now, Denver's in a slightly different time zone. I think they're 2 hours behind. I don't think they're in Central. I think they're in the Mountain time zone. I'm not sure. But, even a little bit of a difference could help the Steelers. So, ta-da. For them, it'll probably be 11 o'clock, I think. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't know my time zones that well. Then you got Texans at Steelers. They're Deshaun Watson, great quarterback, but they now don't have DeAndre Hopkins. That is a huge help for the Steelers. I think I said it, but I'm not sure. Win versus the Broncos. And the Texans, while they are a very good team, you'll have all three. This was a great time to put a primetime game, and they didn't, because you have Derek and TJ on the Steelers, and now JJ on the Texans. Why not put that as primetime? It's early in the season, so it's not like either. Now, while one of them could get hurt, it's not very likely that, by week 3 they're already out due to injury. But without Hopkins, without some of the weapons that they did have, I'm going to give the Steelers this win. If they had Hopkins, I might have reconsidered. But, trading away DeAndre Hopkins for nickels and a bag of Cheetos, that was stupid. It was. Everyone realized Bill O'Brien was an idiot. It's you too. All right, Steelers at Titans. Derrick Henry just got his extension, and he's a monster to bring down, an absolute monster to bring down. I'm actually gonna give the Titans the win here, and it's because of Derrick Henry. So right now the Steelers are 3-1. You got Eagles at Steelers. Now, Javon Hargrave is going to come back. And, it'll be tough to not root for him a little bit. But, obviously I would want the Steelers to win, If he got a sack, I'd be a little disappointed, but happy for him. It's that whole, they were a great player while they were here, and they were kind of like a fan favorite. Everyone liked him because he didn't get into trouble. He got the huge contract, and you're happy for him. And had the Steelers, if they had cap, they probably would have paid him and kept him. So, I still will give the Steelers the win over the Eagles, though. Just because Carson Wentz may end up hurt at that point. Let's be honest, either he's going to get hurt or the weapons will get hurt, the wide receivers or the tight ends. Zach Ertz is going to be a problem during that game, but overall, I think we got it. Now, Darius Slay, if I recall, is an Eagle, and he'll lock down, whoever, or he'll man-to-man versus, Juju or something, and we'll see what happens there. I do know Malcolm Jenkins went back to the Saints, though, so we'll see what about their safety situation as well. Browns at Steelers. Yes, the Browns fixed their offensive line. Good for them, but they still have way too many weapons for their own good. And it's going to be interesting to see how Baker does this year. But I'm going to give the Steelers the win. So right now, through the first 6 weeks of the season, they are 5-1. Steelers at Ravens. I'm going to give the Ravens this one. I think they split with the Ravens, but the Ravens just got better this year. They did. Lamar Jackson's going to have another offseason under his belt as an NFL quarterback. They got Campbell. Yes, they traded Wormley, but they thought they were getting Buckner. No. What the hell's his name? From the Rams. He re-signed with them. I can't remember his name. Brooks. No. It's definitely a B. Let me think. Hold on. Give me a second. Okay, it's Michael Brockers. That's what it was. I was so close. But they thought they had Brockers, and they didn't, so they ended up signing Derek Wolfe, I believe, after that deal fell through. But, they're an amazing team, and I think that, they'll split with the Steelers. So that means that the Steelers will now be 5-2. Steelers-Cowboys, so Dak is going to play, because I believe he actually put pen to paper and signed his franchise tag. So he has to participate in all the offseason stuff, and he'll get paid the $31.4 million, I think it is. Um, but with the offensive line getting a little worse this year because of Frederick retiring. Yes, it's in Dallas. This is going to be a very, very close game because they got Cooper, they have Gallup, and they have CD. And this is a very close scoring game. And I'd hate to say it, but I'm going to give the Dallas Cowboys the win. I think the Steelers drop 2 in a row to become 5-3. The Bengals, this is no contest. They're going to win. It's no contest whatsoever. Burrow's going to be in his rookie year. Now, this is later in the season, so he'll have a little more practice, but the Steelers at this point also have a little bit of film on him. So I'm going to pick the Steelers, though. It's no contest here. So that means the Steelers will now be 6-3. Steelers and Jags. Jags are a terrible team. So this could be one of those trap games. I don't think so. I'm going to pick the Steelers, which puts the Steelers at 7-3. Ravens at Steelers. Like I said, I'm going to... Oh, and this is a primetime game. Like I said, I'm going to... the Steelers and Ravens will split. Last year, Lamar Jackson had one really bad game. It was versus Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. That was the game where Mason went down because of the hit by Earl Thomas. And that's where I think he started playing scared after. Because he was doing somewhat well. You know, he was at least average. And then he got hit by Earl, and I think it got in his head, and he played scared until after he got benched. He was able to clear his mind a little bit, and then played versus the Jets and got hurt again. So, but like I said, they split one. Now Steelers and Washington. I'm gonna say Washington at Steelers because Washington officially said they are going to be retiring. They're like retiring their team name. So right now they're actually Washington. Whew, to be determined. They're not even the Redskins anymore. So I'm just going to say Washington at Steelers. They're not winning. Now I say Washington is not winning this game. They're not. So that puts the Steelers at actually 9-3. Wow, my phone just had a seizure. Okay. So that puts the Steelers at 9-3. Steelers at Bills. The Bills are a really good team. They'll be probably leading for their division, but you don't know what will happen. You never know. But I would say because it's at Buffalo, this is gonna be a close game. But I think I'm gonna give the win to the Bills. I think I'm going to give it to the Buffalo Bills here. They got Stephon Diggs. Josh Allen has another year under his belt. You know, Sean McDermott's a great coach. And with that, the Steelers become 9-4 on the year. Steelers and Bengals, again, the Steelers are going to sweep them this year. So that puts the Steelers at 10-4. Colts at Steelers. It's Phillip Rivers. Is he still good or not? That's up for debate. I'm going to give the Steelers this win. I'm going to give it to the Steelers. So that puts them at 11-4. And Steelers at Browns. You know, it's at Browns, so is it kind of one of those games where, you know, the dog pound is, you know, cheering and, you know, because they remember what happened. The season before, when they were in Cleveland, Myles Garrett took off Mason's helmet after a fight between the two and hit him on the head with it. So the fans are going to remember that. And that could fuel them. I think the team's going to remember it, the players, the fans will remember it. That'll fuel them all. And this could actually be a very, very close game that I'm going to give. This hurts me. I'm going to give it to the Browns. I'm going to give it to the Browns. Because of how fueled the crowd is going to be. You could say the exact same thing about when it's Browns at Steelers. The Steelers fans could be fueled by it because they know what Miles did. Miles didn't get to play at Pittsburgh last year. Because they played at Cleveland first, Miles got suspended, and then they played at Pittsburgh. So, this is going to be... So, the Steelers fans are going to be fueled because Myles Garrett's going to be in Pittsburgh. And I think the Browns fans are going to be fueled because now it's the scene of the crime, so to speak. You know, it's where it happened. The fight broke out. So, and that's where Miles got suspended. I think it's Larry Ogunjobi. He got suspended. And Marquise Pouncey got suspended. The three of them all got suspended that game. You know, Miles got ejected, and it was an entire fiasco where it was a huge fight, you know. So, I think that's going to fuel the Browns. Fans and players just that little bit to push them past Pittsburgh. It pains me to say it, but that's what I'm going to go with. So, if I'm correct, that gives the Steelers a record of 11-5, right? I'm going to double check. 1, 2, 3. So 3-1, 4-1, 5-1, 5-2, 5-3, 6-3, 7-3, 8-3, 9-3, 9-4, 10-4. Yeah. Okay, so that gives the Steelers a record of 11-5, which it does honestly feel like that's like an 11-5, kind of maybe 10-6, right in that ballpark. That's what this team feels like to me. Now, I think their top is that 13-3, but they definitely feel like an 11-5 team to me, which, especially given that we have 7 playoff teams per conference now, that's definitely good enough. Now, if the Manning curse is truly real, maybe Baltimore sucks, maybe Pittsburgh wins the division. We don't know. But it's going to be interesting. So that's why I think the Steelers are going to end up going 11-5. We looked at the roster currently with the 90 guys. We know roughly what it's going to look like when it's final. And then we looked at the teams. We know who's good. We know who's bad based on last year. And the Steelers actually have one of the easiest schedules. So it could be interesting next year. It could definitely be interesting. Now, they could still go 11-5, but I could be wrong about that game and wrong about that game. You know, the Steelers, I said we're going to lose, and they won, and I said they would win, and they lose. But I'm thinking 11-5. That's definitely what this team feels like to me. Would I be happy with 11-5? Yeah. Would I be happy with 10-6? I'm happy if they get in the playoffs, basically. And just prove some of the doubters wrong. Because they're talking about Ben, how old he is, coming off surgery, this, that, and the other. Oh, he's not going to be the same. You have to kind of think, does Ben really need to be the same? You know? Does he need to be the same quarterback that he once was? Or even if he's 75% of what he once was, is that good enough with the defense they have? You know, they got Minka, they got TJ, they got Devin Bush, Cam Hayward, Stephon Tuitt. They got all these guys. Is that enough where if Ben's just 75% of what he once was? And the defense. And, because here's the thing. You take New England last year, right? They would hold opponents the defense, would hold them to about 14, give or take. And New England, 14 or less, and they would pretty much win. 17 or more, and every time an opponent scored more than 17 points, New England lost. So, does that mean the Steelers just have to hold their opponent? Like, let's say the Steelers hold their opponent to somewhere in that 14 to 17 ballpark, right? Like, if the Steelers score 3 touchdowns, I mean, the Steelers don't have to score 30 a game. If they score somewhere in the 20 to 25 a game, is that good enough to have that 11-5 record, or better or worse, depending on how the defense plays? Because if the defense completely plays shutdown defense, it's not the bend but don't break. It's literally just impose your will against the opposition's offense. Then the Steelers don't actually have to put up a ton of points per game. 21, 24 may be enough every single week. Not saying the Steelers would score, 21 or 24 every week, but that may be enough, just because of how the defense plays. Or if the defense takes a step back, then the offense does have to step up and score 27, 28, maybe 31 in order to get some wins. So, with that said, I think it's about 11-5. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you think 11-5 is too high, too low? How about the guy who said 13-3? Is he crazy? Or is he listing a true possibility? Again, he was the guy that said the 49ers were going to go 3-13, so take that for what you will. Based on him saying 13-3 for Pittsburgh. I think it's 11-5. I would be ecstatic if they went 13-3, because he said they were going to go 13-3 and be number 1 in the conference, which means they get the bye week. They would be the only team that gets a bye week, based on the new playoff format, which is starting this year, and then the 17-game schedule starts in 2021. So, I'm excited for the season, whatever season we have, because of COVID. It's definitely going to be interesting. So if you guys enjoyed this, please leave a like. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button and turn notifications on. I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.
Once I was 7 years old, Mama told me, go make yourself some friends or you'll be lonely. Once I was 7 years